the past couple of weeks, businesses in Lagos, Nigeria's economic capital, have been practically brought to their knees following the chaos inflicted on it by hoodlums who infiltrated the #EndSARS movement. On Tuesday last week, several buildings, public and private, were razed down. Hundreds of buses, rapid transport vehicles, ferrying commuters to and from the outskirts of the city were also burned down, while a reign of terror in various forms had been unleashed in almost all the streets in Lagos, with the hoodlums having a field day, harassing and extorting money from those carrying out essential services, following the imposition of a 24-hour curfew by the state government. Business premises have been broken into and ransacked. And quite disturbingly, there has been an almost total absence of security personnel, including the police, in the streets. With the security situation still rife, the economic cost to the crisis continues to rise. Families are being denied the opportunity to make a living, while fear of the unknown is rapidly taking over. Joining us now to talk about what her agency is doing to reach out to persons whose businesses have been affected by this tragedy is Teju Abisoye, Executive Secretary, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Welcome to the program. Good morning, Teju.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. The Lagos State Commissioner of Information tells us that it will take about 1 trillion naira to address the damage that we have seen in the last few days in Lagos State. But the big concern is about the attack also, apart from public assets, on private assets. Is there any plan in place to provide some restitution for owners of malls, shops, businesses who lost so much in the course of this crisis that we have seen? And you are Executive Secretary of the Employment Trust Fund. What is the plan of the Lagos State government to provide jobs? Because a lot of people are saying unemployment fueled the crisis. If those young persons had jobs to go to and they had schools to go to, they probably would not have been on the streets.
Thank you very much. So the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund has been established to address youth unemployment in Lagos State. Since 2016, we've been doing this strategically by supporting first small businesses. That's our flagship program with loans, business advisory support to make sure that they can increase productivity and thereby employ more people. We also train people with skills to make sure that they can take jobs that are available in the market. And then, of course, we support technology-enhanced businesses. To date, we've supported over 11,000 businesses. We've created over 100,000 jobs. And the incidences in the last few days has been really sad because the whole state is affected. Infrastructure, small businesses, a lot of damage has been done. So as soon as things started clearing up, we reached out to the community, the small business owners, and said, look, what has happened? What can we do to help? The response was overwhelming. As of midnight yesterday, we had over 2,200 applications about damages that had been done to small businesses. Livelihoods have been affected. He also tells us that at least another 2,000 jobs have been affected, meaning that we're not even counting the bus drivers that were burnt down. So we have to quickly move. So the Board of Trustees working with the government have agreed that we're putting up an MSME recovery scheme, a grant scheme to these businesses that have been affected in partnership with the private sector. So we have Flutterwave partnering with us. A lot of the financial institutions, we have Access Bank, Polaris Bank. Banks have reached out to say, look, how can we make sure these MSMEs come back? Now, yes, we're going to offer them grants to make sure that they can get back to business, but they may still have to take additional loans because we need it to go round. Like I mentioned, we have over 2,000 applicants already affected that have actually submitted their applications that have been affected. So we need to make sure that as many businesses get back online and can begin to do their business again. What is interesting is just before this, LSCTF Board of Trustees had approved a LEAP program where we were already starting to provide interventions in specific sectors. So we had just launched the education one, where we're providing funding to schools to make sure that, post-COVID, They don't have any working capital issues, asset issues, anything that could really help them get back online and start to work as a school. So yes, we have approvals. We're commencing sector-specific interventions. We were renewing loans for our affected beneficiaries. But this is live, and we've set up this fund for this recovery at this time.
Thank you, Teju. I was going to ask you whether you're granting grants or loans, and you've talked about grants and also those who might need to supplement those grants with loans. Are you still maintaining your interest rate of 5%?
The loan programs that are currently being run by LSATF, we have a 5% on our loan programs. Now, in terms of partnerships, so what we've done again is so that we can increase our reach, we have gone to private institutions, commercial banks, to say, how can we partner with you, blend our interest rates so that people can still get low interest rate loans to do business effectively, so that businesses can thrive. So rather than you getting a loan at 26%, we have other loans at 9%, 10%, to make sure that businesses are getting these loans at very low interest rates and can do business and create, more importantly for us, create employment.
Right. It looks as though to me, and good to see you again, Teju, it looks as though to me that most of what LSATF is targeting, I mean, residents, people that have a means of tracking them, businesses that are already on and things like that, sort of that proper social divide. But when you look at the average boy on the street that has nothing working for him, that doesn't even have an address in Lagos, but is just there on the street, what is LSATF going to do for those group of people? Because that's the ticking time bomb. Thoughts like that would definitely, while all of this was going on, be pushed to want to do, things that are not right in society and the likes. I mean, not socially stratifying them now. What is LSATF doing for them? And I want you to speak to me about the LEAP program and how that was going on already and what has been done as regards that now.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, Rufai. So basically, while we have a headquarters that is situated in Alausa, we have offices in 26 local government areas. And the idea is to make sure that we can reach the grassroots, the bottom of the pyramid, anybody that lives in Lagos State. And part of our expansion plan is always around making sure that we're present in the 57 LCDAs, LGAs. It's very critical, like you mentioned, that we can reach the people who, for example, are not on social media, they don't have a laptop to apply for these loans. So we do have these liaison officers who have the job to make sure that they're getting people into the bracket, they're making them aware of the Lagos State government program to make sure they can be gainfully employed. There are a lot of young people, and one of our other programs, what we call the Lagos State Employability Support Program, which we do in partnership with the UNDP, GIZ, and the United States African Development Foundation, targets training young people, youths, with skills. Today, we've trained over 5,000, and we've placed over 60% in jobs. What we do is, in that particular program, is we start with the industry. What are the jobs available? What are the skills you need that you're not able to find in the market? Then we agree a curriculum in terms of what is deliverable and what they will consider experts in that particular skills. And then we train in partnership with vocational training centers across Lagos State. So it's very important that we do get these people into this kind of trainings. We get the jobs that are available. We're asking people, our LMIS, feel it about skills that you need so that we know what to train people, for what skills to train people in. It's very important that the private sector help us. Public, we do our bit. We put enough information on that platform so that we know what to train people in. And the LEAP program is called the Lagos Economic Acceleration Program. It was post-COVID, approved already by the government to make sure that businesses affected by the COVID lockdown can get up again. So what we call a pick-me-up. It was very sector-specific and in alignment, of course, with the economic sustainability plan of the federal government. And the idea around it is, let's take the sectors that can honestly create for us jobs quickly and begin to support them strategically. So you will see education, that's the one we've launched, because it still remains a high growth area where jobs are being created annually. We're looking at agriculture already, definitely infrastructure and construction, ICT, where we know that, look, it's a good place to invest in to make sure jobs are created. One other place we're looking at is also the renewable energy. This is now, we're trying to make sure that we make people convert to using LPG. And these are all things where we're saying that, look, how do we make sure that we're focusing on the sectors that actually have, that can create the jobs in the market now? Very critical that we're investing and we're supporting these businesses. That's what the LEAP is about. We launched with First Bank, our partner, a $5 billion fund for the education sector, where we're supporting private schools that need this money to get their teachers back in the classroom, the infrastructure for their students. All the other programs are in the work, and we're going to be launching them one by one in partnership with the private sector as well. Like I mentioned, this helps to expand our reach in terms of the volumes that we can actually do. Thank you.
Well, Teju, let's talk about what your agency calls the SME Recovery Fund in the aftermath of the NSAS protests. That's the big news out there, the fact that you want to provide support. Now, what's the amount that is available to you, or is open-ended? And how can persons whose shops have been looted, who have suffered damages, how can they access that fund? What criteria have you put in place in terms of what makes somebody qualified or not qualified for access? In other words, is there a mechanism in place even for ascertaining whether the particular person that wants to access the fund was actually a victim or not?
Thank you very much. So the structure for this particular fund is that it's been seeded by the Lagos State government. As of today, we have raised 1,530 million naira. And this is in partnership with the private sector, like I mentioned. Access Bank has committed, Polaris has committed to partner with us. And what we're doing is setting up a steering committee, which is already also being done. As I speak to you, we have confirmation from Faith Foundation, Endeavor, Nigeria, to sit on the steering committee. WinBees has confirmed. And the idea is that people have sent in their claims. The fact that you have filed a claim doesn't mean automatically you're entitled to the amount you're requesting for. What we will then do is evaluate each claim by using what we call the business development support partners. And they will go to the field, independent private sector partners as well, who would then come back with the report on each of these claims. These claims, you know, when people are asking us for, off the top of my head, I saw one of those emails that said he's asking for 75 million. Obviously, that's not the kind of money we are going to be providing. We're looking at how do we make sure that first, infrastructure is back up. So we look at the claim. On the panel, on this steering committee as well, is expertise in infrastructure and construction that can give us real figures and feedback with respect to what people are asking for. So where the shop has been damaged and the BDSP has gone out, done the verification and come back, we'll look at the number the BDSP wants to, believes will be the right amount for each beneficiary. And then we will disburse that claim and publicize it. This particular fund is going to be there's going to be a dashboard that's going to be available for everybody to see the inflows and the outflows. We can't do this alone, and we know that because these are now grants, and we're an organization that is built and we want to be sustainable. We cannot afford to give out all our money, capital as grants. So we're looking for partners from the private sector to help build this fund in such a way that it will go round. A lot of businesses have been affected. We've seen the damage. You know, I really don't think, some people were sounding very hopeless. I got an email that said, I am finished. We had to send her another email. You're not finished. There's life. And we will support you to make sure you're back up. So that's what the LSETF is doing. We've put together this fund. We're asking people to join us. There's a steering committee consisting of private sector partners, especially those that are working in the MSME space, Faith Foundation, Endeavor Nigeria, WinBees are part of this steering committee to make sure there's transparency, there's accountability in disbursement of claims to beneficiaries. That really is, everybody's entitled to. People who can go online to fill the forms. We've sent out our liaison officers. We've sent people in FAGBA, we have somebody collating names already, because we also wanted the local people there to verify these claims as well. So we're working we're already on the ground. Our officers are going around for people who can fill forms to make sure that they get their claims, take pictures, and document it for the BDSP when it's time for the BDSP to visit and verify these claims as soon as possible. We have received over 2,200 applications. If you go to our website, you can see how to apply. If you want to donate, it's on the website. On our social media handles, you can apply. And we're reaching out. We understand that this is very devastating. And that's one of the reasons why we can't stand back and say this has to be another loan program. Okay. But we believe we will do our best and make sure that we do something a grand size, and other things can then be, you can approach any of our partner banks.
Sorry to interrupt you. What's your website? What's your social media handle for the benefit of persons who would still like to get across to you?
Thank you very much. The website is lsctf.ng. All our social media handles is at LSCTF on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, at LSCTF, and our website is lsetf.ng, where you can get more information on how to apply for this fund and how to also donate if you're interested in participating to help small businesses recover.
Thank you so much for that, Teju. Really appreciate you for your time.